Hello, my name is Darnassus Jackson, manager in the Office of Patient Experience here at Michigan Medicine. As a Black man living and experiencing racial biases in many aspects of the world, along with the recent events involving Black Lives Matters, I am pleased to present this compelling, educational, and enlightening video. It represents the many experiences of the Black and Brown communities in the hospital setting and gives their accounts on how they felt, what we can do to bring about awareness, as well as improve for those that have been impacted.
The one experience can really change how a person decides to continue care at that establishment. My first pregnancy with my twins, who ended up being born prematurely, they were, I remember distinctly, I kept saying at every appointment possible that I want to breastfeed. What do I need to do? What are some things that I need to be doing now that can help prepare me for this? Right before I went into my emergency C-section, I was walking around my room and I heard somebody outside of my room say, they asked if she's planning to breastfeed, and I believe it was the nurse, I'm not exactly sure, but the nurse responded and said, oh, she's having twins, and besides, they don't do that.
The assumption that you don't have insurance, or the assumption that you're on Medicaid. Automatically assuming that I have, diabetes, high blood pressure, or other health factors that are common, that are disproportionately affect African Americans, which they do, but that doesn't mean everybody has them.
Because that's the one thing I stress when I work with medical students, and they ask me to talk about my medical history with them, is what assumptions are you making before you even walk in the room? Or what assumptions do you make while you're sitting there listening to the patient explain to you their medical history or where they grew up and what impact this might possibly have on them seeking medical care now? You won't know unless you ask.
It's scary when you fear for your life going into the hospital and feeling like that you're going to be rejected, feeling like you're not going to be saved.
So what do I do now? Where do I go to be heard? And is it because of my skin? I don't know, and I think that's the problem.
People have to really spend time thinking about how they treat patients who are Black differently than they treat patients who are not Black.
Even if you feel that you don't have a racial bias, doesn't mean that it isn't there, because you're taught this at a very, very young age. I have given lectures to medical students in second year, and the bias is implicit. It starts from the jump. So understanding that it may not be something that you wanted as a racial bias or something that you even think that you have, but trying to improve yourself better, right?
I think people who are on staff, faculty, maybe need to go above and beyond to reassure people that we are in the right place no matter what race we are, no matter what color we are.
Want to talk a little bit about how I see as a patient that U of M could potentially grow. And I think one is being inclusive with your staff as well. So more minority staff, I think that that's important. You don't see a lot of doctors who look like you as a patient, yet you do have, plenty of African American and Latina and Latinx and persons of Middle Eastern descent that come to the hospital. So I think that inclusivity when it comes to hiring is a start, because all things kind of roll downhill. So having good doctors who understand racial bias and understand racial inequities helps.
There's not a lot of us there from what I can see, especially in the CVC. So making sure that we get, for one, top-notch care, which I know Michigan Medicine is one of the cream of the crop when it comes to medicine, but to just reinsure minorities that we are getting the top care. It doesn't matter what race we are.
People of color have a joke about the U of M about Michigan so white, and it's sad. We talk about it. It's like, you walk around, everywhere you walk, you don't see a lot of people who look like yourself. And I think that makes people of color kind of like already guarded.
That representation is definitely very important to making sure that the patients feel comfortable in receiving care at a healthcare facility.
I remember one time when I came to the emergency. This is actually not CVC, but the emergency, and an African American took care of me. They did all the tests and all of that, and he came back and he had actually 2 people that he was training, and both of those individuals were African American men. So that here it is, 3 African Americans in front of me, all with the doctor's attire on and everything, and it was kind of heartwarming / breathtaking at the same time, because as an African American coming to Michigan Medicine, I had never seen that personally. And it made me feel really good to see, not only to see that African Americans are embarking in the medical profession, but just to see 3 African American men in this institution made me feel a lot better.
Black people already have unequal access to healthcare, so when they come into this situation, they might have already had bad experiences walking in the door. It is critical to think about the way in which the impact of what you're saying might have an impact on this particular set of people because of the way in which they're exposed to healthcare in general.
Michigan Medicine can't solve all the problems, but Michigan Medicine can be a part of the solution simply by being there, by being in the fight, simply by listening and sharing the stories and creating a safe space for people to come and participate.
I think we just need to continue to help lead and be the best that we can be, and showing that no matter what your difference is, no matter how you look, feel, or whatever care that you provide, that we're going to make sure that we provide the best care possible for you at the end of the day.
To continue the work, listen to Black voices, elevate Black voices, and value Black voices. To remember that Black lives matter then, Black lives matter now, and Black lives matter in the future. So we're not back in this cycle of coming to forefront like, oh, it's a Black Lives Matter movement. We need to address this. We need to act on this immediately. It needs to be something that is done continuously and consciously moving forward in Michigan Medicine.